Afternoon, y'all. 14:15 my time here in Tennessee. My name's Roger and this is Old Dog Woodshop. Today what we're going to do is we're going to utilize some more scraps from our previous projects. We built a lot of fence picket projects here. That seems to be the easiest thing to get started on. And you always have a lot of scrap left over. So utilizing some of the fence picket pieces, we'll end up, what we're going to do today is build another cross. This cross is going to be about 15 inches long. You know, it's not very big. Here's your parts and pieces. Drew it up on a piece of paper with pen and pencil and a straight edge. I got one of them fancy computer devices, but I don't know if I could figure out how to lay it out on a computer. Pen and pencil are just as quick. What we'll do is we'll go over the parts list you need. The parts are going to be, one half of the parts is 1.5 inches wide. The other half of the parts is 1 inch wide. You need a total of 6 pieces to make this project. 6 pieces, that won't sound like very much, but you know it'll get something done and you can start utilizing some of them scraps you get. Pieces of fence, when you do a planter, you usually cut them in 1 3/4 inch strips and you got a lot of them small parts left over. But I cut these down to 1.5 inch wide and 1 inch. 1.5 being your main cross and then 1 inch being the backing that holds everything together. I'm going to assemble this today utilizing staples and Titebond 3 wood glue. Even though this is probably going to be in the house most of the time, some people may want to stick it outside. You can hang it on your wall, you can hang it on your door, or whatever you choose to do with it. I built a jig. Anything that I can build a jig to help me make it build faster, I'm going to do that. So I put together a small jig. Doesn't take just a few pieces of scrap. This jig is going to help me assemble everything at a more rapid clip, and we'll cover that when we start the assembly process here in just a minute. Once we get done, your main cross is just this basic cross. 15 inches this way, 7.5 across here. How do you determine where to place your cross member? Your cross member is placed 1/3 the way down. 1/3 the length of your main beam is where your cross member goes. So this is 15, so it's 5 inches from the top is where your cross is. The width of your cross is determined by half of your length. So being a 15-inch cross, the width of this piece right here, when you get all the parts and pieces put together, is going to be 7.5 inches. And I'm sure that would apply to any type of cross that you're going to build. If it's 15 feet, so this would be 7.5 feet, and this would be down 5 feet, depending on how big it is. All the dimensions are pretty much going to stay the same. So what we'll do now is we'll get the parts gathered up. I'll show you the parts, and then we'll start the assembly process. The parts you're going to need for this is you're going to need one piece that is 1.5 inches wide by 15 inches long. You also need 2 pieces that are 1.5 inches wide by 3 inches long. These will be your cross pieces that go on here. For the backing, you'll need a piece 1 inch wide to 6.5 inches long. This is going to go across and hold all these 3 together. Next piece you'll need is 1 inch by 3.5. This is going to go right up here at the top. And then one piece 1 inch by 9 5/8, and that'll be the piece that goes down at the bottom. So you're building a cross on cross is what you're really building. So I got my jig sitting in place, and I basically got it upside down. You'll take your one piece 15 inch by 1.5, and you're going to slide it in your jig. It's a little snug, but that's all right. Butt it up against this bottom piece down here, and cut your jig so it's 15 inches at the top, so it's just flush on the end. You'll take your next pieces, which is 1.5 by 3 inches. And these are going to sit right here on the side, just like that right there. Okay? And that's basic, the whole cross right there. Now what we got to do is assemble the back brace that holds all these pieces together. Let me get some glue. Like I say, we're going to assemble this with glue and staples. So you're going to throw you a piece of, or bead of glue on this cross piece, and you can just line this up by eye. Get you about the same gap on either side, and about center up on this total piece. Then what we'll do is we'll throw some staples in there. You can use as many as you want. I like to put 2 in each of these and 1 in the center. Now what you do is you take your 1 inch by 3.5, it's going to sit up here. Same process. Throw your bead of glue on it. Line it up, center it up the best you can this way. And throw you a couple of staples in it. You could use brad nails, it probably wouldn't make such big holes, but that's fine. Next is your 1 inch by 9 5/8. Same process. Don't need to get real technical. Just try to line everything up straight. Set it in place. Throw you some staples in it. And that right there is the final assembly of your cross. So what you do now is just grab it right here, pull it out, and you got your cross pretty well built. After you get your cross built, what I like to do is take the sander. You know, you can plane some of this down if you want to, but take your sander and run your sander across here and let's just clean it up a bit. Once you get it sanded off nice and smooth there, what I like to do is that I'll take a router and use a chamfer bit and put about a 1/4 inch chamfer all the way around the outside. I got my router, got my chamfer bit set up in my router, and we'll go ahead and throw that on this cross to get it cleaned up. These things right here is handy as a pocket on a shirt, I'm telling you. That's all there is to it, to putting the chamfer on there. Now what we'll do is we'll sand it just a little bit more, and then we can go ahead and we can seal it or put your stain on it, and then we can put a hanging device on the back. Hang it on the wall, hang it on the door, whatever. And that's really all there is to it. It'll take us about, even doing this video, it only took 10 minutes. Took a little bit longer, you know, to cut the parts and everything, so you could probably pump these out maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 an hour if you really wanted to. I mean, if you really got into production mode. What I did is I took some clear polyurethane, got these chamfered over, took some clear polyurethane and put on this. I don't really like to paint wood, but I will if I have to. And then I took me a small hanger and stuck it in the back. That way I can hang it on the wall. As I say, I brought it outside, hung it up on my door. Got my American flag crossed right there next to it. What y'all think? Looks fairly decent. I appreciate y'all. I reckon that'll close out this video. I guess I asked y'all to like and share and subscribe.